Hello, yeah, great and glorious NickDutch here yet again. Hi, how's it going? Just basically trying to continue with trying to continue to answer the questions which GodMythology put to me. GodMythology, I've done it again, YouTube user, not eBay user, okay? Because the full message here says, you want to lead your audience a more logical way of thinking. I enjoy your videos, but I want to hear more details from you as, if you don't mind, sharing with the world your very first spiritual experience. Well, I've mentioned that to, seeing ghosts. Your spiritual path, I'm not sure if I can say I have one, because a spiritual path is like psychodynamic or psychological change over time, and that's called growing up, okay? Now we reach a very difficult point, because it then says outcomes of your rituals and magics. Now, if you were to do, let's say, a ritual or a prayer or a meditation or something to try and bring you enough money to keep yourself alive, and then maybe the following week someone gives you £5 so you can buy enough food to, to eat during that particular weekend, how can you say that it was your ritual or your magic or your meditation or your prayer or your psychic work which did it? You can't. And that's like saying that if I fart on a Tuesday, it's going to cause a hurricane on the equator in like June of next year. I mean, and therefore I should shove a cork up my arse for the rest of my life. I mean, it's illogical. I mean, there is one of the many dangers in doing magic and the occult is that you end up developing beliefs, because you can go into a state of mind through ritual, prayer, and meditation, whereby it's much easier to believe that, everything's in its right place and the work that you've done has somehow changed something in the outside world. But there's still zero proof as to whether that is done by yourself or in some manner done by yourself or the spiritual beings that you're dealing with. Basically, you can't. The only thing that's vaguely testable, properly testable, would be something along the lines of telepathy when you try and communicate with someone during dreams. Now, I was watching one of those Project Camelot videos quite recently, and there was this character in it who said that he was a heavy alien believer, and one day when he was running short of money, he's suddenly asked the powers that be to prove that all this stuff was real. And then he bumps into his friend the next day. He says he had his dream whereby he met this guy and there was aliens and UFOs and all that stuff. And then the guy in the video said that's proof that there is an answer. When I don't think that is a proof that the aliens are actually communicating. That's a proof that could be a demonstration. I mean, could is an important word here. It's not certain. That could be a demonstration that there was some kind of bioplasmic telepathy link thing between the guy who's asking for the aliens or whatever to prove themselves and his friend having that dream experience. That would be much more likely, in my opinion, rather than to say, yes, the celestial beings or the supernatural beings or the aliens did come down and prove their existence. It doesn't make any sense. And it's not rational to assume that the aliens have done this. It's just not rational at all. So the only thing that's testable, sharing dreams with people is great, because you can practice with your visualization, you can practice with your meditation to such a degree, and you can practice with astral projection methodologies to such a degree that you can attempt to share dreams with people, okay? And you will get some dramatic results. That is as close as I can get to a real fact. That's the kind of thing that you can try, practice, work with, work on, and say that you can get results. With the experience that I mentioned in the previous video about doing that chant and then making a wish at the end of it, and then the wish coming true in terms of me receiving powerful visions of the future, as if a camcorder had been placed behind my eyes, and 5 minutes of time was recorded and then played back to me during my sleep a certain number of nights before. That can be more or less tested, but it's very difficult to control. Okay. But as far as doing a ritual to modify the weather, and on the next Thursday it happens to rain, it is impossible to say whether you've actually done that yourself, whether it was you doing that, and it could be considered, and I say could be considered because of course naturally we don't know. It could be considered more likely that the ritual, prayer, or meditation puts you in a state of mind whereby you're more likely to believe that it was yourself and your own work which did it. Okay, the next part of God Mythology's question said visions of certain deities. Okay, that's right. There it is, visions of certain deities. Okay, that one's got some kind of importance to it, but again, even though you have like visions of deities or you actually see an angel being or a ghost or a devil or whatever, again does not prove their objective existence. What it proves is you've had an experience. Like I did an experimental invocation of the angel of death at one time because I was a twisted person and I wanted someone dead. Which of course didn't happen. They've lived to a ripe old age and they're still alive now. But what happened on that night is I did not close the circle afterwards. I just left it there. And during that night there was this feeling, and I can only call it a feeling, and also I don't know whether you get this, like in the dead of the night, like when the lights are right out, you might see that there's like a bluish haze, which you could say is like your persistence of vision, or maybe your eyes are trying to adjust to the darkness, but instead you're just getting this like very slightly bluish haze, maybe. Well, I had that in all parts of the room, apart from the part of the room where I cast the circle, where it was black, and there was a feeling of an emotion in that circle area, which also felt black. It felt dark. It didn't, not scary, but just sort of like there was a feeling of presence there. Almost like there was a feeling of presence of consciousness. Anyway, I went to sleep that night. Tried to get to sleep that night. Couldn't. My mind was racked with all kinds of confusion because I was going through a lot of bad stuff at the time. And then, of course, I thought very loud, just like what someone might scream into their pillow. I thought very loud by coincidence into the center of the circle area, why must I suffer? To which I received a bolt of lightning to my head, which contained the words, you chose it. It felt like a bolt of electricity, static electricity or something like that. But the bolt of electricity contained meaning, and the meanings were the words. I was not hearing with my ears. It was like, it was like whatever this bolt of lightning was the meanings of those words sinking into my head. Not necessarily in English, but the meanings of the words sinking into my head. Which one could say is possibly or arguably the communication from the angelic or divine being who was present in the circle area, which gave me an understanding as to how to communicate with seemingly divine beings. However, again, whether it's true or not, I don't know. But when that happened, at that moment, I got this instant feeling of this sense of awareness that yes, I did choose everything that had happened to me. Oh my God, yeah, that's right, I did choose it. Although where the hell that came from, I just can't say. But of course, as I am an incarnate, regular, ordinary human being, I still have to see myself as a character who's got choices and kind of making more choices as time goes by, because that's how normal, sane, well-integrated people behave and think. I'm going to have to stop now because I'm running out of time.